My brother is convinced that I reported him for being in love, which forced him to break up with White Moonlight. On SAT day, he sent gang members to bully me and set me up to miss the SAT. Years later, he's a successful man with a beautiful wife, and his only regret is the love he had when he was a young man. I, on the other hand, had to rely on dishwashing to make ends meet because I missed the SAT. Then we were reborn together. He and the White Moonlight staged a youthful movie Roaring Love. I, on the other hand, to make up for the regrets of my last life, buried my head in books and stopped caring about them. When the SAT fell to a close, my brother panicked and said he was wrong. Ethan, the pride of heaven, was with Sophia, the schoolgirl. One is a schoolboy who is always at the top of his grade, and the other is a campus goddess who looks like Helen. The news of the duo's official announcement took the whole school by storm. While the whole class was discussing it enthusiastically, I sat quietly in my seat looking at my problem set. There was no lack of curious students coming up to me and asking, "Luna, honestly, when did your brother get into a relationship with Goddess Jean?" Ethan is my brother, my nominal brother. When I was 6 or 7 years old, my mom and dad had no choice but to go down the road of jumping off a building to end it due to the bankruptcy of their business. Uncle Lou, as my dad's partner for many years, took me into their home to live with them as their nominal daughter. Unknown. I was cold and indifferent. In my last life, it was because when Uncle Lou asked if Ethan had fallen in love early, I answered with silence. Uncle Lou knew in his heart, and quickly contacted Sophia's family to send her abroad, causing their relationship to break up. My brother has held a grudge against me ever since. Not only did he send gang members to bully me on that day, but he was also involved in making me miss the SAT. I remember looking at him that day, covered in blood, and he smiled a brash smile, his eyes full of hatred. "Luna, I want you to remember what to say and what not to say." Recalling my last life, my breathing became rapid and endless stretches of hatred surged into my chest. I was absent from the SAT, coupled with the inability to speak. I can only rely on dishwashing to do hard labor to make ends meet. Ethan, however, as expected to get into Harvard, writing on the internet, all the way to the top. Years later married to his high school crush on his female classmates, when interviewed by the media, bluntly stated that the biggest regret in life is to be broken up by the first love, causing his wife beside the face of a burst of red and a burst of white. Since fate gives me a chance to start over again, I will definitely grasp the opportunity to not let myself end up in the last life, Harvard. I will get in. A life without regrets. I will also have. Luna, if you don't want to die, don't say a word that you shouldn't say. In between classes, Ethan at the front desk whispered to me in a threatening manner. He and I are both students of elite high school honors class, but he actually came in with his strength, while I got in thanks to Uncle Lou's help. Even many students in the class privately sigh. In the end, there is no blood relationship. Luna doesn't have Ethan's IQ. Ethan is the unchanging number one in his grade. It's just that since he was reborn, he's not like his last life where apart from falling in love he just buried himself in his studies. The paper is blank. The notes are lazy. The class is a section without listening. The test is a few random scratch. Ethan in class are using the phone and Sophia chat. Either in Instagram and other major software search how to cajole angry girlfriend, how to take care of his girlfriend period when she is, and other words and phrases. He used to chase after the teacher as soon as class started, but now as soon as the bell rings, he runs to his remedial class to look for Sophia to talk about love. His weekends, which used to be filled with tutoring centers, are now reserved for Sophia, and it seems that in order to be more worthy of Sophia, he has become more concerned about his appearance. Every day in high school, he woke up half an hour early to fix his hair, spray his uniform with Olin, and polish his sneakers. For this reason, Ethan even asked for a small mirror from Sophia, and whenever class was about to end, he would look at himself left and right, trying to present the most perfect image to his baby. The Lukes are a middle-class family, not rich, but with a few $1 million in assets, and Ethan's lavish spending on Sophia was nothing to sneeze at. He will take her to sweep the new Gucci bags, a breath of by her favorite anime all peripheral. Sophia birthday. He gave her a gift as a huge diamond ring. Skyline Lounge. The teenage boy kneeled down on one knee, his eyes sincere passionate. Ran, marry me, okay. Although we are now not adult, less than the age of the license. But please believe me. Sooner or later there will be that day. Sophia was touched to the core. I promise. Accompanied by the enthusiastic shouts of the onlookers, the two kissed passionately. That night, Sophia sent a friend circle. The text is "Love makes me feel secure. He is my backbone." The accompanying picture is a hotel room with a king-size bed, the teenager's strong arms embracing the girl's white and delicate shoulders, and the white quilt covering the two of them. What it means is self-evident. The comments are a variety of flirtation of the two people, fox and dog friends. Happy again, brother. Have time to bring sister-in-law out for a drink. Remember to drink the child burp medicine. 5 minutes of entertainment time passed. I closed the phone and continued to brush up on math problems. The last life of my results cannot be considered too good, but can also make up for the end of the stream 985. The come back to a life. The distance is a little long. A lot of knowledge has been forgotten almost. Learning up a little bit of effort. So in addition to the necessary to eat and sleep, I will spend most of the time in the study. Every day, I wake up half an hour to memorize, and at night before going to sleep, I recall the knowledge once. So on and so forth, and made a lot of progress. The next morning, when I went downstairs to eat, I saw Uncle Lou sitting on the sofa with a straight face. Seeing me come down, his face eased a bit. Xiao Shui. Tell Uncle honestly, is your brother in love? Uncle, I don't know. In my last life. It was precisely because I couldn't bear to deceive Uncle Lou and chose to acquiesce that I received Ethan's retaliation. This time, I've learned to be smart. Since it's going to suck, let him suck. Dad, what are you talking about? When high school is so important, how can I be in the mood for a relationship? Ethan came back at some point and gave me a warning look when he saw me. Then tell me honestly, where did you go last night? Uncle Lou's tone was very bad. No wonder he was angry. Ethan had been a good boy before, never staying out at night. Dad, I went to the cram school. And I was not paying attention, so I solved the problems all night. Okay, don't do that next time. Uncle Lou is still willing to give his son the utmost trust. After breakfast, we each went upstairs, and I was stopped by Ethan. Luna, since we both have a chance to choose our lives again, I won't make it difficult for you. As long as you keep your mouth shut before the SAT, they'll let you take the SAT without any problems. And in the future, when my company is built, they'll give you a position as well. I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. My brother, you still naively think that you will build your own company like in your last life, and then marry Sophia as your wife and have a full family of children and grandchildren. I suppressed my laughter and said with a straight face, okay, I won't talk to anyone about you guys. Count on you to know what you're talking about. Hey, baby. You said you have a stomachache. I'm coming to you now. Because Sophia had called, Ethan hurried downstairs. Looking at the back of the teenager's departure, I secretly laughed in the back of my mind. I hope Sophia is really what you think she is. Ethan and Sophia act ostentatiously. not caring about the eyes of outsiders. Teachers have eyes. They tolerated Ethan before because they believed he had his own goals and wouldn't let irrelevant things get in the way of his studies. But as he skipped class, turned in blank exams, and a series of behaviors became more and more intense, the teachers could not sit still, and called Uncle Lou. When Uncle Lou arrived at the office, he slapped Ethan without saying a word. "Adverse son, I am teaching you to come to school to miss classes and fall in love." Uncle Lou was furious. From a young age, Ethan grew up with relatives and friends praising him. He had always thought that Ethan would follow the trajectory he had set for himself. He never envisioned that he would be called as a parent for his son's love affairs. Ethan pushed his tongue against the swollen half of his face and laughed recklessly. "Dad, you don't understand anything. Ran is the most important thing to me. Nothing compares to it." For Ethan, who owns a Fortune 500 public company and has achieved great success, Sophia is undoubtedly the most important thing. Because he has not gotten it. But what if he had nothing? Saying that, Ethan took Sophia into his arms and gave her a passionate kiss in front of all the teachers in the office and Uncle Lou. Retrograde son. What a retrograde son. Uncle Lou's eyes reddened with anger, and his fingers kept trembling as he pointed in his direction. Sophia seemed to think that the fire wasn't hot enough, and responded to Ethan's kiss. After the kiss, she stood up straight and came to Uncle Lou. "Uncle Lou, I love your son with all my heart. I believe that love can withstand all difficulties. And those who truly love each other cannot be torn apart. And I won't hide it from you. We already have a further relationship." Uncle Lou's emotions were finally completely ignited by Sophia's words. Ignoring the blocking of the subject teachers, he rushed forward and punched and kicked Ethan. "Idiot. Do you know what it means to be responsible for your own life and the lives of others?" Ethan stood still and didn't move. Even though he was hanging wounded, he still insisted. "I love Ran. I won't let anyone break us up. I was delivering my homework to the office. I didn't want to get involved in this drama. I put down my homework and was ready to leave, but I was dragged by Ethan." "Say, did you tell them? You're just jealous of Ran. You can't see us in love." He clutched the school uniform on my chest with increasing force, to the point where I couldn't even breathe. My face flushed red and white for a while, namely because of the difficulty in breathing, but also because of the fact that what I had been thinking for so long had been seen and made public. I liked Ethan. That was my biggest secret. And before Sophia came along, he was my favorite and most admired brother. He would patiently explain my mistakes, and he would travel 10 kilometers just to buy me my favorite cupcakes. On the day of my parents' memorial service, he accompanied me to pay homage to them and to grieve with me. He said, "We, Snow, are not alone. Remember, no matter when or where you are, you have your brother behind you." My attachment to Ethan, from being a child, to the throbbing feeling when I grew up. But that was limited to my last life. My fondness for him ended completely long ago when he sent someone to destroy me. I hadn't expected him to know my feelings. Nor had I expected him to make them public. For a moment, embarrassment and shame flooded my heart. I pushed him away and yelled, "Yes, but I see you clearly now. Heh, it doesn't matter. The only person I love is Ran anyway." This farce ended with Uncle Lou having a heart attack and being hospitalized. Ironically, as Uncle Lou is being carried on a stretcher, Ethan pulls Sophia to the radio station and swears into the microphone, "I love Sophia. She's the only wife in my heart, and no one can break us up. My dad can't, and the teachers even less." Sophia was moved by his words. "My husband and I are truly in love. And we will prove to everyone with time that we are in love from school uniform to wedding dress. At that time, I hope all of you can come to our wedding." A middle two remarks not only attracted students to imitate each other, but also the principal who was drinking water. Ray choked his throat. punished the two-week suspension. Ethan was angry with Uncle Lou, felt that Uncle Lou as his own father do not support his love. 2 week suspension. Froze not to come to the hospital to see Uncle Lou. Look. I took up the responsibility of taking care of Uncle Lou. And I can't thank this middle-aged man with a harsh exterior and a soft heart enough. Without Uncle Lou's support, I would have become a street child. For this reason, I took a leave of absence from school and stayed at the hospital to take care of Uncle Lou. When he was awake, I fed him, checked his heart rate, and read newspapers to him. When he fell asleep, I had time to do my own thing, brushing up, memorizing, and watching online classes. Uncle Lou looked at me with a pleased face. Schwerer. Thank you. Uncle knows that you study hard. Yet you still take time off to take care of me, unlike that rebellious son. Uncle, I just want you to be healthy and well. The words were sincere. In his last life, Uncle Lou was infuriated by Ethan alive. After he learned that Sophia was sent abroad to study, Ethan still skipped classes from time to fly abroad to see her, and even gave him a luxury car worth millions on her birthday. You know, the Lou family's family fortune is only a few $1,000,000. He breaks down and curses the loser, and eventually dies of a heart attack under a surge of anger and blood. Ethan, who learns of his father's sudden death, not only doesn't feel that he did wrong, but feels that this is what happens when he gets in the way of his love. In this life, I hope Uncle Lou can live in good health. Only when he is alive can he see the face of the son he raised for so many years. Uncle Lou's kindness to me is heavier than Mount Tyshawn. After being reborn, learning is important, but more importantly, it is important to let this middle-aged man live in the original trajectory. After a few more days, Ethan finally agreed to come to the hospital. When he saw me, his expression was full of ridicule. Really take advantage of the opportunity to courtship. But you die this heart. My father's assets are left to me, no matter what. I'm still his son. I ignored him and continued to bury my head in the problem. The other party, however, did not let up. What's the use of how hard you work? In the future it's still working for me. It's really poor people's thinking. Always so limited. Clang. A cup smashed heavily on Ethan's back. Don't disturb your sister's studies. She's not like you. Uncle Lou struggled to sit up from the bed, his face ugly as hell. Dad. I even came to the hospital to see you. Why are you so mean to me? Humph. I need you to visit me. Besides, what were you doing the other day? Dad. I know I'm wrong. Please forgive me. Okay. Ethan slowed down his tone and came to sit in front of the hospital bed. I'm your son after all. How could I not love you? Then you break up with that girl immediately and put your mind back to your studies. No way. No way. At the mention of breaking up, Ethan was furious. Ran is my favorite woman. To tell you the truth, I came here today to ask you why you stopped my card. Do you know how much Ran has suffered with me all this time? She's your future daughter-in-law, your grandson's mother. Uncle Lou never condescends to Ethan and I in terms of money. Every month we get $100,000 in pocket money. Once upon a time Ethan focused on his studies, didn't go out to have fun, and didn't spend money on luxuries, so he saved up quite a bit. In the past few months of his relationship with Sophia, it was all spent by the two of them. Uncle Lou learned from Ethan's friends that he had spent a lot of money on Sophia, which is why he stopped his card. Unexpectedly, but a few days Ethan came looking for it. His own father was laid up in the hospital because of him, and the first thing he asked for was money. Get out of here. I'm not giving you another dime from today. Another cup flew towards Ethan, which he narrowly dodged. His eyes turned scarlet and he pointed at me. You're not giving me money because you want to leave it to this bastard. Lou Zhen, you're my oldest son. And you're turning your elbow outwards. The first time he was called by his son's name, Uncle Lou was so angry that he covered his chest. After a short while, he fell straight onto the bed. I rushed over and pressed the button on the bedside, and ran out to greet the doctor and nurse. When I returned with the doctor, the money and cards in Uncle Lou's wallet had disappeared. When Uncle Lou's health improved, I returned to school. Even though I had been out of class for more than 2 weeks, I still came in second in my class in the monthly exams. My teachers were amazed at my progress and praised me frequently for my hard work and seriousness in class. First place went to Liam, my classmate. He had always been second in the class, and with Ethan's fall, Liam became the unchallenged number 1. For this, Ethan even ran up to him and taunted him a bit. Liam, remember, I don't want this first place. I'm not going to waste my time on such useless work. Ethan was convinced that with the memories of his last life, he was either the top scorer or a perfect score on the SATs. And he didn't give a damn about the usual tests and lectures. And Liam smiled back at him. Really? Well, see what happens on the SATs. Ethan is so arrogant that he thinks no one is smarter than him. Liam is the real god of learning. He has always been below Ethan, but does not like the subject teachers always take the first place to compare classmates. In the last life he won the city's top science student with a score of 721 on the SAT, but also refused a number of colleges and universities, such as the Qingbei, to study in the world's top 1 universities. On this day after school, I took the bus to the hospital as usual. Just out of the school gate, was driving a supercar. Ethan stopped. Since the last time he took Uncle Lou's money and card, he coerced the driver to ask for the car. Every day, he drove Sophia to all over the place to have a crazy time, living a good life. Luna, get in the car. I'm going to the hospital with you. You guys go ahead. I'll take the bus there. I looked at Sophia on the passenger seat, who was spreading her legs to dry her toenail polish, and thought in my heart that Uncle Lou should be angry again in a while. You're on your own, or do you want me to do it? Ethan narrowed his eyes. I looked up. The sky is still dark. There should not be anything. So opened the door and got into the car. Ethan drove the car. From time to time, and Sophia kissed, and from time to time in her thighs to touch a hand. When he got bored, he made fun of me in the back seat. What do you think is the use of her working so hard? In the future, when I have my own company, won't she still rush up to flatter me? Sophia laughed willfully. What do you know? Like her, dirt and ugly. Study is the only way out for people. Also, who can have the same kind of life as my family? That's true. Who can be as pretty as my baby? I didn't care to pay attention to them. My eyes kept an eye on the window. I had a good memory and quickly realized that the car was off track. This was not the way to the hospital. Where are you taking me? You'll know when we get there. I was dragged by Ethan's arm to get out of the car. In front of me was a dilapidated building. Not far away stood a group of people. Ethan threw me on the ground. This is the little attractive sister I told you about. How is it? Still satisfied, right? The one in the lead's eyes lit up when he saw me. You've done a good job, Brother Wong. I'm counting on you for Ranran's stomach. Ethan's tone is rarely seen in a pleasing manner. Don't worry. I learned from their conversation that during the time Uncle Lou was hospitalized, Ethan brought Sophia home. The two were young and vigorous, and during the time Uncle Lou was hospitalized, they lived together. But when she didn't pay attention, Sophia got pregnant, and Ethan was determined not to let her abort, saying that it was their child and they should have it. However, SAT wants a medical checkup, so he thought of tampering with it and approached the so-called Wong, who is in charge of medical checkups. As payment, Ethan pitched in and gave me to Brother Wong. Brother Wong, then Ranran and I won't bother you anymore. Well, leave first. Saying that, the others present followed suit. Not waiting for the crowd to take a step away, only to hear a "Don't move. It's the police coming." Meeting Ethan's shocked gaze, I sneered. I called the police long before I got on the bus. In case of the nightmare of my last life, I wore a locator and an automatic alarm system every day after I was reborn. When dealing with Ethan, you can't take it lightly. I was watching Ethan's group of people being pressed into the patrol car with my own eyes, and before getting into the car, he glared at me with a ferocious death glare. "Luna, when I get out, I'll be the first one to get you killed." Good. I'll wait. Sophia, who is used to being pampered, never thought that she would have this day, saw that she was going to be taken away, and cried anxiously, "Hubby, what should I do? I'm so scared." "Don't be afraid. My husband is here. He will protect the baby from the wind and rain." The police officers were filled with black lines. "It's all like this. You'd better think about protecting yourself. What's your name? How old are you? And what's your relationship with Ethan?" In the police station, I was questioned about the whole thing. "My name is Luna. I'm Ethan's nominal sister." I told the police what happened today. "Okay. In your case, Ethan is a restricted person and should be detained for a month." "Of course. You can write a bond if you can't be bothered." "No." I shook my head. "Let him stay in there for a month." In the end, Ethan was detained for a month, insisting that Sophia had nothing to do with the kidnapping so that she wouldn't have to suffer after him. As for the others, they were punished just like Ethan. When Sophia and I were walking out of the police station, the other party suddenly called out to me, "Your brother was detained because of you. Luna, are you satisfied now?" No. Of course I wasn't satisfied. Ethan deserved much more than that. I turned back and met her eyes. "You, on the other hand, think about yourself and the baby in your belly. Are you sure you want to hitch your whole life to this man? In the last life?" After their romance was broken, Uncle Lou contacted Sophia's family on fire and subsidized a lot of money to send her abroad to study art. A few years later, Sophia became a designer and found her true love, settling in a foreign country. Her other marriage became a long time knot in Ethan's heart, so he couldn't wait to get all the processes done as soon as he was reborn. I had no animosity towards Sophia and was sincere in reminding her. Obviously, the other party didn't buy it. "Aren't you just secretly in love with Ethan and want to break us up to get to the top? Luna, I've never seen a more despicable person than you." I didn't listen to her, so I stopped the car and left. And during the month Ethan was detained, I was extremely comfortable. Every day, school, hospital, and home were 3 points in one, and life was extremely fulfilling. And because I was at the same table with Liam, I would ask him any questions I didn't know, and the other would explain them with an open mind. So my grades improved quickly. After the results of the most recent monthly examination came out, the class teacher praised me in front of the whole class. As long as Luna's students play steadily, the examination of the Qingbei University is not much of a problem. At that moment, Liam turned to me and asked, "Luna, which one do you want to apply for?" "Peking University." That was my dream in my past life. Good. An unreadable smile played at the corner of the other person's mouth. When I pressed him, he said it was nothing. Ethan was released 3 days before the SAT. For this reason, he specially called me. "Luna, I originally intended to let you off the hook and let you take the SAT properly. But you're all kinds of uncooperative with me, so don't blame me for coming down hard on you." I knew Ethan wasn't joking, not to mention that I couldn't afford to take any risks at this time of year. I packed up my test supplies, moved out of Lou's house, found a hotel near the test center, and bought a bunch of water and snacks and toiletries. Just in case. I wouldn't leave the hotel room until the SAT, and I planned to order takeout for all my usual meals. Luckily, Liam and I were in the same test center and booked the same hotel. This made my heart a little more stable, and in case something really happened, there was someone who could call the police. Luna, relax your mind. He could see my panic. He just didn't know that I was afraid of being taken again like in my last life. After 2 days in the hotel, I thought I would be safe until the SAT, but I didn't realize that there was still an accident. The day before the test, to ensure a light diet, I ordered porridge and buns. When the takeout was delivered, I stopped for 5 minutes before reaching the door, and only opened the door after seeing no one outside through the cat's eye. Who would have guessed that as soon as I opened the door, I was confronted with a pair of eyes with an evil smile. Immediately afterward, a wet towel that diffused a weird gas covered my mouth. When I woke up from the floor with my weak body, I only saw Ethan and the gang from last time standing in front of me. Brother Wong. She was the one who called the police last time, causing us to go in and squat for so long. This time, I've taken off the locator on her. So I'll leave it up to you to decide what to do with her. Because Brother Wong went in, Sophia didn't manage to avoid the physical examination and was disqualified from this year's SAT because she was found to be pregnant. Ethan now wants to kill me. Remove one of her hands. Wong had a cigarette butt in his mouth and signaled with his men to set me up on the industrial shredder not far away. It was only then that I noticed the running industrial shredder. The sharp gears kept turning, looking as if it was a man-eating monster. Soon, 2 men drove me to the industrial shredder. Clutching one of my hands to feed it into the industrial shredder, and I looked at my fingertips just a centimeter away from the sharp gears, which was my right hand. At this moment, all sorts of emotions flooded my heart. For the first time since I was reborn, I was so disappointed in myself. After trying so hard for so long, I still can't escape the ending of my last life. Wang Chang, do you still fucking want to be promoted? Being called by his name, the leader Wang was a whole lot of fire, and when he saw the visitor, he immediately shrunk his body into a turtle. Chief Shaolin. I also looked towards the direction of the person who came. Only one glance. I was shocked. Liam. Wang Chang was the first one to rush to Liam. Small Lin Chief. You don't review. Why did you run here? I came to look for my desk mate. The young man raised his chin and signaled my direction. Wang Chang followed the direction and almost sat on his butt on the floor. It's over. It's all over. It's good to know. The police will be here soon. Fend for yourself. Liam took me by the hand and left the place. The SAT's footsteps are approaching quietly. Even if the questions are the same as in the last life, I didn't intentionally try to memorize them. The knowledge I had accumulated since my rebirth was enough for me to easily deal with the test questions. After the last English test, I closed my pen cap. The sun was setting outside the window before my life rose. I also received a call from Uncle Lou after the SAT was over, and on the phone, his tone was frustrated. Xiao Xue. Your brother. It turned out that after Liam called the police that day, Wang Chang panicked and blamed it all on Ethan. In a fit of rage, he fed one of Ethan's hands to the industrial shredder. When the police arrived, Ethan was already unconscious from blood loss. Even when he was taken to the hospital, his broken hand could not be restored. It is said that Ethan broke down and bawled in the hospital room that day, smashing everything. Sophia came to see him, but he kicked her out. As the heroine of the incident, Sophia approached me later. Luna, what do you think I should do? What else can I do? Get rid of the baby and leave him. That's not right. Ethan will go crazy. Besides, he used to be so good to me. How could I leave him at this time? I looked at her moving face and laughed a little. Why don't you envision? If you don't fall in love with him, how did you get to where you are now? But at the age of 17 or 18, you were faced with being deprived of SATs, carrying a belly and following Ethan to fool around in the society, and being subjected to the cynicism of others. I never felt Ethan really loved Sophia. How can you love someone and not be responsible for her life? His love for Sophia was just a possessive desire for something he hadn't gotten at a young age, just a way to satisfy his sick inner desires. Ethan was just a child who couldn't grow up, whether it was for Uncle Lou or Sophia. Your life shouldn't be tied up by a man or a child, and you shouldn't be thankful for a man's small favors. You hold your life in your own hands. After that day, I didn't hear from Sophia for a long time. When the other party called to ask me out again, it was the eve of her departure. Xiao Xue, you are right. My life is in my own hands, so I decided to go abroad to pursue my dream of design. On your brother's side, I've broken up peacefully. At the end of June, the SAT scores were close to being released. Uncle Lou accompanied me to check all night, and was late in checking the results. Xiao Xue, what's going on? Is there something wrong with the system? The results of Xiao Liu's kids came out early. Uncle, don't be anxious. The results of the top 50 in the province are usually not announced. Sure enough, not long after, I received a call from the admissions office. Hello, I'm from the admissions office of Peking University. This night, Uncle Lou and I didn't close our eyes for a night. We were all focused on answering the phone. In the end, I chose Peking University. At the welcome ceremony for new students, I saw a familiar face. Liam, didn't you go to study abroad? I remember. That's how it was in my last life. In the end, he received both fame and fortune, and when he returned to China, he was parachuted into the position of president of a top 500 company. It's just saddening that Liam has never taken a wife in his life, cutting short the dreams of a number of young girls. There's been a change in plans. The other side back to me a puzzling answer. Since then, Liam and I as old classmates, coupled with a faculty, will often companion. Until on my birthday, the teenager booked the Air restaurant and walked up to me in a white suit holding flowers. I went back to Lou's house for the first time after I went to college, and it was Uncle Lou who specifically drove me back, with Ethan sitting in the back seat. When he saw me, he snorted coldly. What's the big deal? Wait for it. Even if I don't go to college, in the future I will open my own company is still not dump you a big cut. For Ethan's words, Uncle Lou summarized them as nonsense. Snow. He's been daydreaming for a day or two now, so just ignore him. Since losing his right hand and Sophia's breakup, Ethan has been fighting to start his own business like cold chicken blood, only to run into walls because of his high school education and disability. He can't figure out how he can't replicate the success of his last life. Because he was too high-minded, always thinking that with the memories of his previous life, he could get by. You don't have to study to get into a good university, and you don't have to be down to earth to stand on the wind of the internet. To this, I just want to say that this is all what he deserves. I stayed at home for a few days. I don't know what stimulated Ethan. He suddenly solemnly told Uncle Lou that he wanted to have a gap year. Uncle Lou scolded him, but he couldn't help but ask his friends to contact the special education school. After a few days, Ethan came back and bragged to me, "This high school knowledge is simple, just wait. As long as I learn how to write with my left hand, next year's SAT top student will definitely be mine." Well, bless you. Just a few days into the program, Ethan took a liking to the teacher who was substituting for him and also his wife in his last life. The first time he saw her, Ethan hugged her thighs. Wife. In the past, I was wrong to recognize people. I was wrong. From now on it'll only be good to you. The other party is a young teacher who has just substituted for the class. Where have you seen such a person? The other person was so scared that he asked for a month's leave. Ethan also, because of inappropriate behavior, was punished by a month of suspension. He was still not satisfied, and he bought flowers day after day and went downstairs to offer his love to the other person. When she didn't come down to see him, he shouted through the window, "Honey, I love you." Eventually, he was carried away by the neighborhood security guards for disturbing the public, and since then Ethan had no interest in attending classes, thinking that his academic performance was not important, and he dropped out of school within 2 months of attending. Many years later, when Liam and I had our wedding, Sophia flew back from abroad with her exotic boyfriend who spoke with a British accent. The two of them were close, but unlike in high school, Sophia had a more mature and intellectual flavor. I envy you for having such a clear goal when you were young. If I were like you, I would have taken a lot fewer detours. Sophia suffered a lot when she first arrived in Paris because she missed the SAT. Whenever she was in trouble, she would call me in a foreign country. I would always answer her, "You always have to learn to be responsible for your own life." Today, she is the chief designer of Gucci. The wedding was held in an old church. On the day of the wedding, Uncle Lou signed me to the godfather. The godfather looked at Liam and me and asked the question, "Madam, are you willing to stand by him steadfastly, regardless of poverty or suffering?" "I am willing." Liam and I looked at each other and smiled. After 8 years of loving each other, we finally came here. Not everyone's youth is skipping classes and falling in love. Ordinary youth is also worth celebrating. Hundreds of test papers and wrong questions have made me who I am now. The right person never stands in the future.